Okay, so we were discussing about the brake test, which is the only one direct method, right? So we directly apply the brakes through loading the machine, and we note down the weights on both sides, and that is what the procedure calculation procedure I have explained, right? So this is one arrangement, right? The drum, brake drum, this is one arrangement. One side it is fixed, and we have the spring balance on this side, and other side we will be waiting, we'll put the weights. So this is brake drum setup, and other one is pony brake setup. uh, okay, so we have something like this. This is a drum. Okay, um, and we have two spring balances on both sides, and this is belt. Okay, belt is there like this, and now here we will be having the readings. Now this is fixed to the stand. Okay, we have provision to tighten this. Okay, so this is a hook, this is a hook, this is a belt. Okay, so this is actually a drum type, and we can add water here. Okay, now this is connected to the motor, our DC machine. Okay, so this is S1, this is a fixed stand, this is fixed stand onto the base, right? So S1, S2, same readings. This drum radius is R, S1, S2 in kgs, right? So net force is equals to S1 minus S2 in kgs multiplied by 9.81 or 8. So this gives in Newton force multiplied by radius gives me the torque. Okay, 9.8 into S1 minus S2 into R gives me Newton meter. R is in meters, radius is in meters. So once I have this one, then if I measure the speed through tachometer, measure speed through tachometer in RPS, then omega is equals to 2 pi into this n. So if I multiply it with this with torque, I'll get the corresponding power output, shaft power output in watts. Okay, this is power output. So efficiency, percentage efficiency is power output by power input. Okay, so input is V into I. I am running this as a motor, right? I am running this as a motor. So input is V into I, supply voltage multiplied by the input current. So this expression multiplied by, okay, yeah, this has to be multiplied to this one, right? So by Vt into IL gives me the efficiency. So same procedure, but only the setup is different. Normally we don't have weights in the laboratories, so this setup is normally employed in our department labs, not weights. So this setup is there. Okay. So taking down for the various readings. So 1 ammeter, 1 voltmeter is sufficient. That's it. This is given to supply. This measures Vt and this measures IL. That's it. So varying loads, applying different brakes. So varying loads in this pony brake is, I have to tighten these wheels. So the weight is applied on the drum. Okay, if I tighten these wheels, I can apply the weight on the drum. Okay, I can load on the motor. Okay, that's it about the brake test. So I have also said about that the brake test directly knows the output. We can measure the output power and we can measure the input power and take the efficiency, but it does not give a knowledge about the losses. What are actually different types of losses taking place? It does not give any picture about the losses taking place in the machine. Okay, so this method, one more disadvantage is because we are applying to know the efficiency, we need to load the machine to up to rated speed, rated load and above the rated load, right? So but in case of a large machine, it is very, very difficult and it is unnecessary of energy wastage. Okay, so we also look after the energy. So this method is basically applied for low rated machines only, not for high rated machines, and no clear idea about the losses in the machine. So these two are the main drawbacks with this brake test. Okay, so coming to the next method. Now this method comes under indirect method. So one among this category is Swinburne's test. Swinburne's test. Normally it is also called as no load test, right? No load test. Swinburne's test. And like brake test, we can also conduct the Swinburne test on a DC shunt as well as the DC compound machines. Okay, so what is about this Swinburne's test is that, so before that I just give the idea about the losses once again. What are the losses taking place in the DC machine? One is core losses, right, and friction and windage losses, and armature copper losses and field copper, as well as copper losses, in that armature copper losses and field copper losses. Right? What else? Any other stray losses? Right? Okay. So what I can say is, now a DC machine, when it is operated under no load, so let me take a shunt machine. If it is running at a no load, right? So this is running at a no load operation. Supply is given and supply is given, and it is drawing some no load current and our corresponding armature current and the field current. Okay. Now what we do is, we the because it is not meeting the any load, it is not meeting any load is not applied, this load torque is 0, but it is drawing some finite current from the supply, right, to meet this power, that is Vt into IL naught, this input power under no load is to meet the core losses in the armature. Number 2, the friction and windage losses at no load, friction and windage losses, because at no load speed is there, then friction and windage losses will exist, right? So friction and windage losses, and third one, any copper losses, that is no load copper, armature still drawing some finite current, so it will have that small amount of copper losses, any copper losses, that is armature as well as field copper losses, armature as well as field copper losses, right? So now this is what it is going to consume under no load, right? So if I could try to find out the amount of no load armature current, IA naught, let me put IA naught. Now then if I could find out no load armature current, this is no load armature current, then the copper losses, IA naught square into RA watts. Okay, if these losses are subtracted from the no load input, right, then I'll get a constant losses in the machine, which is equals to no load input power minus no load armature copper losses. Okay, so from this, if I subtract IA naught square RA, then the remaining losses are all met into the core losses, friction and windage losses, and shunt copper losses. This is I have subtracted, because the armature current is going to vary, because as the loading is applied on the motor, armature current increases, so armature copper loss is going to vary, but all other terms, field copper losses remains constant, because IF square RF, IF is going to remain same until and unless Vt is constant. Supply voltage is constant, then IF square RF, the field copper losses will remain constant, and the friction and windage losses will remain constant only if I assume that from no load to full load, if speed variation is negligible, speed variation is negligible. Okay, right? So that is what I assume. The friction and windage losses are actually varying. As the motor is loaded, speed drops by some fraction, then the friction and windage losses should also fall, right? But I assume that the speed variation is almost maintained constant, then the friction windage losses is also maintained, remains same, and core losses are assumed to be constant. That means the due to loading there may be a distortion in the field due to armature reaction, and this armature reaction actually increases core losses, right? Increases core losses, but still we assume the armature reaction is not present and the core losses are not going to vary from no load to full load. So that is what the two drawbacks of this Siemens method. Siemens method is, one is we neglect armature reaction and core losses variation from no load to full load, core loss variation from no load to full load, and also the friction and windage losses remain same from no load to full load speed. So these two are the main drawbacks of this method. Okay, now let us find out the procedure, how we conduct this experiment and how we find out the efficiency of the machine, right? Now once I find out the constant losses in the machine, so how do I find out the I just take the two readings. What is, I apply no load on the machine, there is no load on the machine, and I take the readings. One reading is the input current and one reading is the field current. Field current field current is not required actually, only the main line current. Okay, so if I note down the line no load line current, then I subtract from this the shunt current. How do I can find out the shunt current? Through simply Vt. I know the armature resistance and the field resistance values. These values are known to me. So in that case, if I know the shunt field current, I simply take the ratio Vt by Rf to find out the shunt field current. So if I take the difference of this line current and the shunt field current, then I will get the armature current, right? So for any given load, because shunt field current is constant, I can calculate the armature current, right? So what do you have to do? So once I know the constant losses, I assume that these constant losses remains same for the machine operating from no load to full load. Okay, so only thing is to get the complete losses, total losses is equals to constant losses plus armature copper losses at any given load current. Okay, this is the total losses in this machine is equals to the constant losses already we found from the no load test plus the armature copper losses at this corresponding load current. at the given loading condition. At the given loading condition. Okay, that's it. So once I get the total losses, so in case of a motor, what is that? Input minus losses. In case of motor operation, so once I get these total losses, I can find out the efficiency. In case of motor, the efficiency is equals to input power minus losses power or loss power divided by the input power gives me the efficiency, right? So what is input power? Input power is V into I or Vt into I. I means any given load. I means this I is any given load current. I am actually, without operation, I am trying to find out the efficiency of the machine. So only I can do in Schumann test is just take the readings of the machine at no load condition and calculate the constant losses. That's it. Now all other efficiency values are calculated without operation through theoretical values only. So Vt into IL minus total losses. Total losses means the constant losses what we obtained in the no load operation plus the corresponding armature copper losses. So armature copper losses means the total load current minus the no load the shunt field current whole square into RA gives me the armature copper losses plus the constant losses, right? So this gives me total power output from the machine divided by the input power. So this ratio gives me the efficiency of the motor in case of motor. Now in case of, so I can take efficiency calculations at any value of load current from no load to full load. Okay, so in case of generator, efficiency is, in case of generator we have the output Vt into I. This is I. Okay, output by output power plus loss power. This gives me the input. This gives me the input power. Okay, so this denominator term gives me output power plus losses is input power. So the ratio of output power by input power is equals to the efficiency of a generator. Okay, so that's it. So what is that you need to do? You take the just no load line current of the machine. So take Vt for the Vt supply rated voltage, you can either, otherwise you can take the no load ammeter as well. So take down the corresponding no load voltage and take the no load current. That's it. So from that you subtract that input power, the armature copper losses, which gives me the constant losses. So once I have with that, then I can calculate the efficiency of the motor operation or generator operation through just a simple formula. These formulas. Okay, so only simple tabular column. What is that? Vt and I naught, IL naught, just no load readings, only one reading. So supply voltage is 200 and the no load current you mentioned, that's it. Okay, so this is very simple test, no load test, and we calculate the efficiency indirectly. But only the disadvantage with this is that the friction losses and core losses are assumed to be constant throughout the loading operation from no load to full load. But actually in actual machine it is not constant. The friction losses varies with the speed, core losses varies with the change in flux due to armature reaction and all that. So this gives me an approximate values but not accurate values. This Siemens test. So I hope you have understood this simple test. Let me give you a small problem. One moment. So 400 volt supply VT, 400 volt VT is 400 volts supply, and no load current is 5 amps, armature resistance is 0.5 ohms, and RF is 200 ohms. Okay, so IF, the field current is 400 volts divided by 200 ohms. So this is 2 amps is the field current, and the no load armature current is 5 minus 2. This is 3 amps. Okay, so no load input power is 400 volts into 5 amps. So this is coming to 4 by 22,000 watts. Okay, and from this I calculate the constant losses of the machine is equals to no load power input minus the armature copper losses is 3 square into 0.5. 3 square into 0.5 ante 9 5s are 45 and 4.5. So this is 4.5. So that is 1995.5 watts. So this is the constant loss, and this loss in the machine is assumed to be constant throughout any load condition. Now I want the armature copper losses. Now the at full load condition, which is at full load IL is 50. Now under that condition armature current IA is 50 minus the 2 amps, that is 48 amps. Field current is constant. Now under this condition, what is the copper losses? Armature copper losses is equals to 48 square into 0.5, 1152 watts. Okay, right. So this is armature copper losses alone. Now total losses is equals to constant losses plus the armature copper losses. So which is 95.5 plus 1152. So how much this comes? 5, 7, 14, 11. This is 3. Is that correct? 3147.5 watts total losses. Yeah, total losses. This is total losses at full load of 50 amps. Now what is the input power? Input power at 50 amps loading. So which is VT into IL. So this is 400 into 50. So this is 20,000 watts. Okay, so this is the input power into the machine, and we have this much of losses. So the efficiency at 50 amps loading is equals to output is 20,000 minus these losses, watts. This is the output power. Input minus losses is the output power divided by the input power, that is 20,000. So how much is this? What is the percentage? Multiplied by 100 gives me percentage. Somewhere around 84, 83.
So 84.26%.
Okay, 84.26. Okay, to 84.2% is the efficiency at this particular loading of the machine. So likewise you can find out at any load condition IL is equals to 20 amps, IL equals to 30 amps, IL equals to 40 amps, IL equals to 10 amps, and we have found out IL equals to 50 amps, right? So if you find out all these values 10, 20, 30, 40 like that, then simply you can draw the efficiency graph, loading condition. So IL value 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 amps versus efficiency, percentage efficiency. So definitely you will get a smooth graph like this. Okay, right? So this is all about the Schumann stress.